In the heart of Ajegunle, Lagos, a community alive with the sound of hawkers, the rattle of kiki napeps, and the dreams of the forgotten lived Simi Adeniran, a strikingly beautiful 20-year-old girl with eyes full of questions and a heart full of hunger. She shared a one-room apartment with her mother, Mama Simi, a cleaner at the Eco Atlantic Hotel who came home every night with aching knees and clothes soaked in sweat. The walls of their Face Me, I Face You apartment were chipped and stained with time. The rusty ceiling fan only worked when PHCN remembered them. The mattress they shared had long since given up on providing comfort. But in Simi's mind, she wasn't born to remain in this world. Every night, with her technophone plugged into a cracked power bank, Simi would scroll endlessly through Instagram and TikTok. Her screen was flooded with Lagos baddies flaunting raw Cambodian bone-straight wigs, sipping Azul in private jets, and taking mirror selfies in Banana Island penthouses. Their captions mocked her reality. Another week, another country #soft life. God no go shame us, but poverty must die first. Luxury is my portion, say amen. Simi would stare at her reflection in the cracked window beside her mattress and whisper, I'm too fine for this life. Her best friend Aisha Lawal, a 21-year-old student of LASU and fellow Ajegunle girl, was her anchor. Aisha would often warn her, Simi, don't let social media fool you. These girls, they do things. Real things. You no fit copy them if you no want pay the price. But Simi's laughter was bitter. And poverty, no they collect price. Look at us. We live like rats. Mama still they clean toilet for 30,000 naira. This can't be my portion. One night, as she lay on her bed fanning herself with a jollof rice takeaway cover, Simi saw a post that felt like destiny. Looking for a personal assistant. Must be stylish, beautiful, and smart. DM if interested at Vanessa Bosbay, Vanessa Banks, the queen of soft life, over 700K followers, a Lekki apartment, rumors of dating senators, famous for her Boss Girl Academy, and a luxury skincare brand. Simi's fingers shook as she typed, Hi Vanessa, I'm Simi. I'm confident, stylish, and hardworking. I would love to work with you. She hit send and prayed silently. 10 minutes later, her phone vibrated. Vanessa had replied, Come to Marina Lounge tomorrow, 3 p.m. Dress well. Don't be late. Simi screamed and ran barefoot to Aisha's apartment across the corridor. Aisha, she replied me. Vanessa Banks replied me. I'm meeting her tomorrow. Aisha's brows furrowed. That influencer? Simi, this thing sounds risky. But Simi was already floating. No be you talk. Say God go bless us. Maybe this is my own breakthrough. That night she slept with one eye open and 1,000 thoughts racing through her mind. She borrowed a sleek black dress from Aisha. She straightened her old synthetic wig over a steaming kettle. Her makeup was a blend of 200 naira foundation and determination. When she stepped into Marina Lounge, the air choked her with the scent of perfume she couldn't afford and conversations about stock options she couldn't understand. Then she saw her Vanessa Banks sitting under a golden chandelier sipping a glowing mocktail, dressed in a silk two-piece outfit that screamed wealth. You're late, Vanessa said without lifting her designer sunglasses. Simi was 10 minutes early, but she swallowed her reply. I'm sorry, she said, bowing slightly. Vanessa looked her up and down. You're pretty. That's important. But can you keep up? I can handle it, Simi replied with a trembling voice and steel in her spine. Vanessa smirked. We'll see. And just like that, the door to the world Simi had always dreamed of creaked open. She didn't know it yet, but that same door would one day close behind her, trapping her in a life far darker than she could ever imagine. The next morning, Lagos sunlight poured through the scratched window of Simi's room, but she hardly noticed. Her entire mind was fixed on Vanessa Banks's final words. "We'll see." She spent hours preparing her best dress ironed flat, her old sandals polished till they shone like leather. With her synthetic wig brushed neatly, she dabbed on her Enfield perfume, praying it masked the scent of Ajagun's dust. She took one last look in the mirror and whispered, "This is the beginning of my new life." The taxi dropped her at Vanessa's apartment in Lekki Phase 1, a modern high-rise building with tinted glass walls that mirrored the skyline. Even the security man barely glanced at her before waving her in. He had seen enough pretty girls to know their purpose. Inside, the elevator doors opened into what looked like a Hollywood-set velvet couches, floating staircases, chandeliers that sparkled like diamonds. For a second, Simi felt like she had teleported from poverty to paradise. Vanessa emerged from her room, wrapped in a silk robe, flawless makeup already done. Her bone-straight wig flowed like water, and her iPhone sparkled with Swarovski stones. "So, you made it," she said with a smirk. "Good, let's get to work." Simi nodded eagerly. The first few days were easy, replying to brand emails, organizing shoot schedules, helping with ring lights for TikTok videos, and taking endless pictures. Vanessa treated her coldly, but kept her close. She was testing her. But soon the cracks began to show. Simi noticed that Vanessa's lifestyle was all performance. The food in those expensive restaurant shoots, never eaten. The private jet pictures, fake. They would go to the airport, take a few snaps by the door, then head back home in an Uber. "Soft life is a show," Vanessa said. "Nobody cares if you're rich. They only care if you look rich." Simi was stunned. All the glam girls she had idolized on social media were living a lie. But instead of running from the illusion, she became obsessed with perfecting it. She started posing with Vanessa's borrowed designer bags. She stood beside a friend's rented Mercedes and posted a photo captioned, "God win. More like God now #levels have changed." Followers began to pour in. DMs flooded with comments like, "You're glowing, babe. Soft life looks good on you. Teach me how to make money, boss queen." But the most important shift wasn't in her likes. It was in her soul. One night, Vanessa handed her a cocktail and led her to a rooftop party in Ikoyi. The venue was breathtaking fairy lights, strung across glass railings, soft music floating in the air, and women dressed like goddesses in bodycon gowns and glittering jewelry. Simi had never seen wealth up close like this. She felt out of place, yet she belonged. Vanessa leaned close and whispered, "You see that man over there? That's Chief Okonkwo Nnamdi, billionaire, politician. He likes pretty girls. Just smile. He'll take care of you." Simi's heart dropped. She had heard the stories Lagos sponsors, sugar daddies, big men with families and fat wallets. "I'm not sure I'm ready for that," she muttered. But before she could blink, Chief Okonkwo was standing beside her, smiling with polished teeth and eyes that hunted. "Vanessa, my favorite girl," he said, placing a hand around her waist. Then his eyes landed on Simi. "And who's this fresh flower?" Simi tried to smile, but her nerves betrayed her. "This is Simi. She's new," Vanessa said, her voice dripping with suggestion. Chief Okonkwo's eyes didn't leave Simi. "Do you like good things?" he asked. Simi's mind flashed with images her mother's scrubbing toilets, the cracked walls of Ajegunle, the mockery in her neighbors' voices. Her pride wrestled with her hunger. "Yes, I do." He handed her a card. "Call me." That night, back in her room, Simi stared at the N30000000 alert on her phone. She didn't touch the money at first. She just stared. Then she picked up her phone, posted a photo of her in a glittering dress, and captioned it, "When your hustle finally starts to pay, #, no bad energy #, Soft Life Queen. The likes came fast. So did the lies. And in that moment, Simi crossed the line she could never uncross. It started with a single credit alert. 3 million naira. That was all it took for Simi Adeniran to feel like she had finally arrived. Suddenly, life shifted gears. The next morning, she woke up in her tiny Ajagunle apartment with the weight of poverty still hanging in the air, but the money in her account made it feel like a distant memory. She didn't say a word to Mama Simi, who was already sweeping the compound, humming her usual hymn. Instead, Simi opened her gallery, picked the best photo from last night's rooftop party, and posted it with the caption, "Real queens don't chase, they attract. #Soft Life Chosen One." Within minutes, the likes exploded. DMs filled with fire emojis. Her following jumped from 2,000 to 7,800 in one night. Brands began tagging her, and among the comments was one that read, "Where can I buy this wig?" The truth. The wig wasn't hers. It was Vanessa's. So was the bag. And the perfume. But no one needed to know that. The influencer game had begun. Vanessa Banks, noticing the rapid growth, pulled Simi aside one day on the balcony of her Lekki penthouse. "You're rising fast," she said, sipping from a glass of rosé. "But don't get too comfortable. Soft life is a performance, a continuous one." Simi nodded a little too confidently. "I'm learning from the best." Vanessa smiled the kind of smile that didn't quite reach the eyes. "Then it's time you start investing in your body." Simi blinked. "My body?" "Yes," Vanessa said smoothly. "You're pretty, but this game is about perfection. Snatched waist, bigger hips, lifted bum. That's the currency." Simi looked down at herself. She had always known she was beautiful naturally, but compared to other girls at the parties, she was starting to feel basic. "I don't have that kind of money," she confessed. Vanessa leaned closer. "You don't need money. I know a place. It's cheap. Underground, but effective. That's where most of the girls go." Days later, Simi found herself in a hidden clinic in Festac, inside an unmarked building. The lights flickered. The receptionist didn't ask for ID. The hallway smelled of antiseptic and tension. In the waiting room were girls she had only seen on TikTok influencers, with hundreds of thousands of followers, each of them waiting to be sculpted into perfection. One of them, Nina Gold, a light-skinned, heavily followed beauty, turned to Simi and whispered, "This is my third time. You can't stop at one. You have to maintain. These men like fresh bodies." Simi nodded, forcing herself to be calm. But inside her chest thundered. Then came the scream. A nurse burst into the room, panicked. Behind her, a stretcher rolled out, and on it was Nina Gold, lifeless. Simi froze. Her hands trembled as nurses tried to hush the chaos. Vanessa appeared behind her and grabbed her arm. "Let's go." Simi didn't ask questions. She ran. They never spoke of it again. That night, back in her room, Simi didn't sleep. She stared at the dark ceiling fan above her, spinning slowly, just like her thoughts. Her phone lit up. It was a DM from a boutique. "We'd love to send you a PR package. Drop your address, Queen." She typed her response, then deleted it. Was this all worth it? She closed her eyes, thinking about Nina's lifeless body, the surgeon's gloves, the smell of blood and bleach, and the silence that followed. But when she opened Instagram, her last post had crossed 10,000 likes. The temptation was too strong. She swallowed her fear and whispered, "I'm already in too deep." The next day, she posted another picture, smiling, flawless, radiant. The caption read, "God is still blessing his girls #, no surgery, needed #, curves and confidence." But inside, Simi was breaking in places her followers would never see. Simi survived the surgery scare, but she didn't come out untouched. Something inside her had shifted. She had tasted the illusion, the applause, the adoration, the luxury, and now she couldn't unsee it. Every compliment, every DM, every gift pulled her deeper into a world that demanded more from her each time. Still, she was determined to find another way to elevate. Vanessa noticed. "You've been distracted lately," she said one evening, as they sat in the candlelit spa room of a luxury hotel in Victoria Island. Vanessa was getting a gold facial while sipping infused cucumber water. "I'm just thinking," Simi replied. "Thinking won't get you a house in Banana Island," Vanessa snapped. Then her voice softened. "But I know what will." Simi looked at her, confused. "You've got beauty," Vanessa said. "But what you need now is power." Simi tilted her head. "What kind of power?" Vanessa leaned in and whispered, "The kind that makes a man transfer N20 million after just one kiss. The kind that keeps your name in his mouth even while he's in bed with his wife." Simi frowned. "You're talking charms." Vanessa smiled. "It's not juju. It's enhancement. Positioning. It's what we all do." Simi hesitated. But when she remembered how Chief Okonkwo had started ignoring her texts, how followers only applauded when she flaunted luxury, her resolve cracked. "What do I need to do?" she asked. That night, they drove out of Lekki and crossed into the back roads of Ijegun, arriving at a gated compound hidden behind a high wall and thick palm trees. The gate creaked open, revealing Mama Urena. She was not what Simi expected. Instead of an old woman with tribal marks and a raffia skirt, Mama Urena was young, beautiful, and almost ethereal. Her skin glowed. Her long braids fell down her back. Her nails were polished and her eyes sparkled with mystery. "You're the new one," she said softly, sizing Simi up. Simi nodded, unsure of what to say. "Good," Mama Urena continued. "You'll need this." She handed both girls a black cloth, soft and warm in their palms. "Remove your clothes. Wrap this around your body." Simi's hands trembled. She undressed slowly, feeling her pride slip away with every item of clothing. They stepped into a room lit by red candles and lined with mirrors. At the center stood a large clay bowl filled with a thick, dark liquid. Mama Urena dipped her fingers into the bowl and began rubbing the oil across Vanessa's body, chanting softly. Vanessa closed her eyes, her body glistening under the flickering candlelight. Then Mama Urena turned to Simi. "Your turn." Simi stepped forward. The moment the cold liquid touched her skin, she gasped. It felt like fire and ice, both burning and calming at once. She rubbed the mixture onto her arms, her neck, her chest, and as she did, she felt something unlock deep inside her. Power, seduction, boldness. When the ritual was complete, Mama Urena looked at her and smiled. "From tonight, no man will say no to you." She wasn't lying. The next day, Chief Okonkwo, who hadn't replied in weeks, sent her N200-000 without her asking. A day later, an Abuja-based tech bro she had only met once sent her an iPhone and an Hermès purse. Her DM was filled with offers. "Can I take you to Maldives? Name your price, baby." And her followers? Now over 45,000 brands begging for promo slots. Her boss girl captions were being quoted on TikTok. Even other influencers were reposting her style. She was becoming a star. But with the rise came a shift in Simi's spirit. She was no longer the curious girl from Ajegunle. She spoke less to Aisha. She no longer visited home. Her laugh changed. Her gaze hardened. In private, She began to look at herself in the mirror and whisper, "I own this game now." But she didn't notice that her reflection no longer blinked when she did. And when she finally fell asleep that night, her dreams were filled with flames, shadows, and a whisper that echoed from Mama Urena's lips. Power always comes at a price. The power worked. Simi Adeniran, once invisible in Ajegunle, was now the center of attention in Nigeria's influencer scene. Every step she took into a lounge, people stared. Waiters treated her like royalty. Girls whispered her name. Men competed for her attention. She now stayed at short lease apartments in Ikoyi, wore imported wigs that trailed past her waist, and posted pictures from luxury spas, hotels, and private rooftops. Her Instagram bio now read, "Digital strategist, brand ambassador, lifestyle architect, DM for collabs." But behind the success was a game she was learning to play too well. Vanessa, who had once mentored her, was now in the background. Simi was rising faster, younger, fresher, more relatable. Brands now contacted Simi directly. Event organizers requested her name on flyers. Bloggers wrote stories about her being a crazy young, the next big thing. Even Vanessa's sponsors began showing interest in Simi. "You're glowing," they would say. "You're different." But that was the problem. She was glowing too brightly. And the industry doesn't forgive that. The betrayal came quietly. One morning, as Simi prepared for a brunch shoot at a luxury cafe in Victoria Island, her phone buzzed repeatedly. Dozens of missed calls, dozens of DMs. "Check Twitter." She did. And froze. She was trending. A gossip blog had just posted a breaking expose. Simi Adeniran exposed. Soft life or sponsored life. Leaked chats reveal that Nigeria's new influencer sweetheart is the kept woman of Chief Okonkwo Anambas. Below the headline were screenshots, chats with her and the chief, voice notes, hotel receipts, and bank transfers. Simi dropped her phone. Her hands shook. Her breathing became erratic. How did they get these?" she whispered to herself. Then the realization hit her like thunder. Vanessa. Simi stormed into Vanessa's Lekki penthouse that evening, her eyes bloodshot with fury. "Why?" she shouted. "Why would you do this to me?" Vanessa, lounging in her silk robe as usual, didn't flinch. She swirled her wine glass and looked up lazily. "Because you were getting too big. Too fast." Simi's voice cracked. "You brought me into this life." "Yes," Vanessa snapped. "And I can take you out of it. This industry doesn't have space for two stars. You forgot your place." Simi clenched her fists. Her world was crashing, and the one person who knew the price, she had paid the rituals, the shame, the emotional scars, had sold her out for relevance. "You're evil," she whispered. Vanessa smiled coldly. "I'm a survivor." The fallout was swift. Simi lost 3 major brand deals in 24 hours. Her face was replaced on a billboard she had just shot for. Her management sent a cold message. "We regretfully suspend your partnership pending investigation." Even Chief Okonkwo blocked her. Followers dropped rapidly. The comments on her photos became venomous. "So it was all fake. Another runs girl disguised as a boss babe. God will expose all of you." Her DMs were flooded, but this time with mockery, not admiration. She shut her blinds, locked herself in the apartment, and didn't leave for days. She didn't eat. She didn't bathe. She just stared at the wall. Then one afternoon, she opened Instagram again, hoping for a miracle. She tapped on Vanessa's profile, a new post. Vanessa smiling in a pink bikini, caption, "Life is sweet when you mind your business. # today talk." The final insult. Simi broke down. The tears came first. then rage, then resolve. She walked to her mirror and stared at her face. Her once glowing skin was now breaking out. Her lace wig was matted. Her lips were dry. But her eyes, they were sharp. And in that moment, she whispered, "Vanessa wants a war. I'll give her one." But she didn't mean a PR battle. She meant something darker. She knew where to go. She had heard of a woman in Badagry, far beyond Lagos mainland, someone more powerful than Mama Urena. A woman who didn't just charm men. She cursed enemies, and Simi was ready to curse. The road to Badagry was long, quiet, and unsettling. It wasn't just the potholes or the eerie silence that followed Simi as the driver cut through the outskirts of Lagos. It was the voice in her head repeating the same thing over and over. You were loyal, and she destroyed you. The betrayal had changed something in Simi. She no longer felt shame, no longer felt broken. She felt vengeful, focused, empty. The car stopped in front of a worn, bushy path. The driver didn't speak. He just gestured ahead and sped off. Simi stood there alone in red slippers and a black hoodie, dust rising around her ankles, the sky already turning gray. She walked, deeper and deeper into the trees until she found a compound hidden behind tall bamboo walls. Inside was a mud house circled with palm oil drums and carved statues. Candles flickered at the door. Symbols covered the ground. And there she was, seated on a woven mat, the woman they called Aya Agbani. She was ancient, with silver hair, glowing eyes, and a skin that shimmered like old bronze. Before Simi could speak, the woman looked up and said, "You've come broken." Simi froze. "I want revenge," she whispered. The woman smiled slowly, as if she had been expecting her. "Revenge is not cheap. Are you willing to pay the price?" "I'll pay anything." Inside, Simi was handed a red wrapper, a black candle, and a small clay bottle with a sealed top. "This will change everything," Ya Agbani said. "Pour 3 drops of this on your tongue every night. When you speak, your enemies will feel it in their bones. When you curse, their lives will rot from the inside." Simi held the bottle tightly. Her fingers shook. "And what about Vanessa?" "She will fall," the woman said. "But remember, this kind of power doesn't know when to stop." That night, back in Lagos, Simi sat alone in a dimly lit room. She placed the red wrapper around her waist, lit the black candle, and opened the bottle. The liquid was thick, black, and bitter. She poured 3 drops on her tongue. It burned like acid. She gasped and held her throat, but the moment passed and she felt something rise in her. A heat, a clarity, a power she had never known. She walked to her mirror. Her eyes glowed. "Let it begin," she whispered. The first sign came 2 days later. Vanessa posted a photo of herself at a yacht party in Lekki, captioned, "Life is sweet when you're unbothered. #focus on yourself." Simi lit her candle, closed her eyes, and said, "Everything you build will collapse." The next morning, Twitter exploded. A popular gossip blog had leaked bank statements, voice notes, and chats between Vanessa and 2 married politicians. Her dirty secrets were now public. Brands pulled out. Her PR team quit. Her followers turned on her. She tried to deny it, but the internet had receipts. She was trending for all the wrong reasons. Just like that, Vanessa was sinking. But Simi wasn't done. She had tasted power, and it tasted better than all the designer perfumes in the world. Over the next week, she cursed bloggers, ex-sponsors, even old friends who had laughed when she fell. One by one, they began to face public disgrace, heartbreak, job losses. It felt like justice. At first. Then the shadows came. It began with whispers at night, voices calling her name in languages she didn't know. Her reflection in the mirror sometimes blinked after she did. She couldn't sleep. Her walls felt like they were closing in. Her chest tightened when she entered rooms. Her phone would vibrate, but no messages would appear. Until one day she received a DM from Vanessa's account. Did you really think it was over? Simi dropped the phone. Her heart pounded wildly. She checked again. The account had vanished. Deactivated, gone. Was it real? Was she hallucinating? She ran to the bathroom mirror, looked at herself. Her eyes were sunken. Her skin, once flawless, was pale. The glow had turned to shadows. The power was still in her. But so was something else. Something she no longer controlled. That night she couldn't sleep. She locked every door, lit the black candle again, sat on the floor with the red cloth around her, trembling. The air grew thick. The candle flickered violently. Then came the knock. 3 knocks. Slow, heavy. She didn't move. Her heart beat so loud it drowned the world. Then her phone vibrated again. A hidden number. Come outside. She stared at the screen. Then at the door. She knew who it was. Or what it was. The knocking stopped. But the silence that followed was worse than any sound. Simi stood frozen behind the door, the flame from the black candle flickering wildly. Her breath was shallow, hands clammy, heart pounding so loudly she felt it in her ears. She slowly reached for the doorknob, not to open it, but to check it was still locked. She held her breath. Nothing. No footsteps. No voice. Just darkness. She let out a shaky sigh and turned to go back inside, but just as she did, a hand grabbed her wrist. She screamed. And then she saw her, or what was left of her. Vanessa. But this wasn't the Vanessa of Instagram. Not the glamorous influencer, not the confident queen in silk robes. This was a shadow of her, a creature. Her once perfect face was sunken, ashy, and hollow. Her eyes were pitch black. Her nails cracked and claw-like. Her mouth stretched open, but no words came. Simi shrieked and yanked herself free, bolting out of the apartment barefoot. She didn't look back. But even as she ran, the whispers followed her, not from the outside, but from inside her own mind. You asked for this. You fed the fire. Now the fire's feeding on you. She wandered the streets of Lagos Island all night, dressed in nothing but a wrapper and slippers, her once luxurious wig tilted sideways, her face smeared in sweat and tears. No one recognized her. To them, she was just another disturbed girl on the road, talking to herself. But inside her head, everything was loud Vanessa's voice, the chants from Iwaya Agbani's shrine, the sound of mocking laughter from her past. 3 days later, her face appeared on a blog post. Breaking. Influencer Simi Adeniran missing for days, close friends concerned. The comments were merciless. Soft life gone sour? They always lose their minds eventually. Wahala be like Instagram filter. Her name trended again, not as a boss girl, not as a rising star, but as a warning. And then came the video. Recorded by a market woman in Tehuosho, it showed Simi walking barefoot in the middle of the road, wearing tattered clothes but still holding a red designer handbag, and heels the same one she used to flaunt online. She muttered strange things under her breath, smiling to herself as if she were posing for an invisible camera. Soft life. Soft. Life. Filter. They see me. They always see me. The video went viral. Comments flooded in. She used to slay. Now she stray. Lagos Don humble another queen. She's still influencing for the mad people community. No one knew what really happened. No one asked where the power came from. No one cared about the cost. Back in Ayagunle, Mama Simi watched the clip in silence. Her hands trembled as she placed the phone down and looked out the window. Aisha Lawal stood by the gate, tears in her eyes. "Why didn't she listen?" Aisha whispered. "Why?" But it was too late. In the depths of the spiritual realm, Vanessa's shadow vanished, its work complete. In a shrine in Badagry, Oyagbani's candles all went out at once. Power had been borrowed. Debt had been collected. And Simi Adeniran had paid the price. It had been a week since the video of Simi Adeniran went viral. People had moved on. The hashtags had died. Other scandals had taken over: a celebrity cheating scandal, a politician's daughter getting married, a new influencer launching a skincare line. Simi was now just another forgotten trend. But in the streets of Yaba, her presence still lingered. Some days, she wandered around Tegwosho Market in her red heels, dragging them through the dirt, as if walking a runway no one else could see. Her clothes were torn. Her skin no longer glowed, but her posture remained unnervingly poised. "Do you like my bag?" she'd ask strangers. "It's original Hermes, no be fake." She would smile and strike a pose, one hand on her hip, one foot forward, just like her influencer days. But her audience was gone. Now only flies and market children followed her. In a small kiosk nearby, an old woman who sold recharge cards shook her head as she watched Simi stroll past. "That one. Her story go end inside prayer house," she muttered. A young vendor replied. "I heard say na jazz. Them say she collect power way past her." The woman nodded. "The kind power way sweet for mouth but bitter for soul." Back in Ajigunle, Mama Simi kept the front door open every night, just in case her daughter found her way home. Every evening she would sit by the plastic chair near the gutter and hum hymns same way she did when Simi was a little girl. Her neighbors stopped mocking her. Pity had replaced judgment. Aisha Lawal came by often, bringing food and sitting in silence beside Mama Simi. One evening Aisha asked, "What if she never comes back the same?" Mama Simi looked at her with tired eyes. "Then I will still love her, because she is still mine, even if the world has rejected her." Meanwhile, on social media, new influencers had risen. At Taif the Baddie was now the hottest name on TikTok. She had over 80,000 followers, wore the same bone-straight wigs, and posted the same captions. "God did hash, another Dubai trip hash, soft life gang." But no one mentioned Simi anymore. No one remembered how quickly the platform celebrated her, and how much quicker they buried her. One afternoon, a preacher from Mushin passed by Teshuosho and saw Simi standing on the sidewalk, talking to herself and laughing at passing cars. He stopped. Then he whispered a prayer under his breath. Simi turned to him suddenly. Their eyes met. And for a moment, just 1 second, he saw something behind her madness. A flash, a shadow, a scream. Then she laughed and twirled in place. "Do you like my lashes? I bought them from London." The preacher walked away, shaken. The wind blew gently, carrying the faint scent of perfume from her red handbag, the last luxury left from her influencer days. But to Simi, she was still on top, still famous, still adored. Because in her mind, the followers never left. In her world, the likes never stopped. In her silence, the comments kept echoing. "You're glowing, babe." "God when?" "Boss queen things only. Final shot." Simi stands at a street corner, sun setting behind her, holding up her hand like she's taking a selfie, smiling at the imaginary camera. No phone. No filter. No audience. Just a broken girl trapped in a glamorous lie that broke her.